Hi, welcome along to ArsenalFanTV. Another depressing day, another depressing weekend where Arsenal, again in the Premier League, have just put in a diabolical performance. 4 defeats in our last 5 Premier League games, the worst ever under Arsene Wenger. We spent £90 million in the summer to improve the team, and we've gone backwards. We're slipping down the table. Our chances of making the top 4 are looking slim. We're not beating any of the top teams. The atmosphere amongst the fans at the moment is absolutely toxic. I was at the game yesterday. There were fans arguing. We've got planes flying over the ground. One plane saying, "In Wenger we trust, Wenger in." Another banner saying, "Wenger out, no new contract." It's just an absolute mess. We've got a board that don't come out and say anything, just try and bury their head in the sand and pretend like nothing's happening. We've got a manager that just seems to be, I've lost it, seems to be on his own. We've got players that just don't seem to care. This is amongst the worst performing Arsenal team I've seen in a long time. I think DT said it yesterday that even when we had guys like Denilson and we had guys like Bentner, we were performing better than now. We've got the team that was put out yesterday against West Brom. When I saw the team sheet, I was like, you know what, that's a decent team. That is a good enough team to beat West Brom. We put them under no pressure. We know that West Brom are good at set pieces. The second, or I think it's the third goal, I mean, there was 3 West Brom players going for that ball. 3 of them. They literally got in each other's way to try and score that goal, and not an Arsenal player or defender near them. What are we working on in training? We know that West Brom are brilliant at set pieces. 2 of their goals are from set pieces. Another goal, chaos with the keeper. Absolute shambles. I mean, there's no point in doing a player ratings because I can give you my player ratings right now, 0 right across the board. Only the fans I would give anything. They'd get about a 7, and maybe not even that because we're arguing amongst ourselves as well. Players and the manager. What was the tactics yesterday? What's Steve Bold do? He used to be a defender, brilliant defender. What's he doing all week in training? What is the coaches doing? What's Wenger doing? What's the whole lot of them doing? It's an absolute shambles at the moment, an absolute mess. After the game, Arsene Wenger asked about his future, said, I know what I'm going to do and I'll let you know soon. What is this? It's ridiculous. I mean, where's the people in charge at the club? You know, as I keep saying, it's like a broken record. Let us know what's going on, right? Make a decision. It might have to be a tough decision. It might have to be that Wenger goes. But that could be the right decision. We see, I look at Leicester yesterday. They're through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and they've won their last 3 Premier League games, all of those coming on the back of getting rid of the manager because obviously the manager had lost the dressing room. We couldn't see it from the outside. At the time, we all looked on it and thought, that's a horrible decision. The guy won the title for you guys last year. How ungrateful. But somebody at the top took a tough decision and said, you know what, this can't continue. We know what's going on behind the scenes. This is what we're going to do. Or if there is harmony behind the scenes and it's just a bad patch, then get behind your man and support him and say, we're behind Arsene Wenger, and, you know, come out and say something. You know, we're just detached as fans away from this football club. I was in Germany last week at a Borussia Dortmund game, right? And the thing that struck me was the connection between the fans and the players and the club. They're all moving as a unit. They're all moving as one. With Arsenal Football Club, it's complete detachment. Complete detachment. And we're in a serious crisis at the moment. Top 4, looking doubtful now. FA Cup, getting past City, potentially Chelsea or Spurs in the final, looking doubtful unless something seriously happens and seriously changes over the next couple of weeks. let me get into your comments. You know, I'm sure. Let me just say, we had hundreds and hundreds of responses to, you know, my tweet that I put out saying that, listen, let me know what you thought, you know, for the aftermath. We had hundreds, and a lot of them saying the same thing. So this is just like a little snapshot of what a lot of people are saying. Ollie Ruff says we need a fresh start. Wenger out. Simple as. A lot of people reflecting what he's saying there. I know people come up to me sometimes and say, or I've had emails from people saying, oh, Robbie, you know, why are you pushing the negativity? And we're not pushing nothing. We're being honest, yeah? You cannot hide the fact that there are a lot of fans who are at the end of their tether with the manager. It's as simple as that. Simple as. Stop pretending, stop hiding. It's true. There's a lot of fans out there that are at the end of their tether. They may not want planes flying over. They may not be behind, you know, may not walk on a protest, but they don't like what's going on at the moment, and they feel the change is needed, and they're entitled to their opinions, and they're voicing it. Tom King says, absolute schoolboy defending, a clueless manager, and players with no passion and fight. How can you argue with any of that yesterday? John says, Wenger is a selfish man. He cares more about himself than the club. That's pretty damning. Gordon says, the reality is Arsenal players couldn't be realistically expected to perform with all the negativity. So he's saying that all the negativity around the plane. The guy's got a good point, actually. All this plane stuff, I must admit, I didn't like that. Planes flying, that's not what Arsenal do, you know what I mean? Yes, protests, walking with your banners, I think fans are entitled to do that. If they, as I said, there's no connection between the board of this football club and the fans. So fans feel to themselves, the only way we can get our message across is by doing these drastic things. I don't like the plane. I can kind of understand why people are doing it. This is where leadership is required at the club. And somebody comes and puts their head above the parapet and says, right, I'm representing the club and I'm going to talk to the fans about this. They could come on here on ArsenalFanTV. They could go on Arseblog or any of those excellent blogs out there. They could go to speak to John Cross or somebody like that, the Mirror. They could go to James Ollie at the Standard. They could go to any of these platforms out there. They could even go on their own. They've got their YouTube page. They've got their website. They could come on that and talk directly to the fans, just like I'm talking to you now. Because this is a crisis, yeah? When the government have got a crisis on, I'd expect Theresa May to come and issue a statement to the country. Yeah, a war's about to happen, or we're sending our boys out to war, or something bad. Maybe not. Maybe I'm going a bit too drastic, but something drastic's happened. I expect Theresa May, as our Prime Minister here in the UK, to come on and say, right, I'm going to address the country on this. Theresa May, who's in charge, not one of her junior ministers, or not one of her ministers, not the Chancellor of the Exchequer, which would be, say, your Wenger, who works for Theresa May. Theresa May's in charge. I want to hear from her. And let her reassure me that we understand what's going on. This is what our plan is. Where's that at this club? Hence all the negativity that flies around. And I'm sure it does get through to the players. When they're playing and they're looking across and they're seeing, you know, like they're 2-1 down and they're seeing banners starting to come out and they're seeing people, you know, because there was a lot of negativity around yesterday. I mean, when Alexis got I was watching the game and I was standing on the terraces. It's so obvious that Alexis was struggling with an injury. And when he got substituted, there was a load of fans singing to Wenger, you don't know what you're doing. Actually, he did know what he was doing because the guy was injured, taking him off. But that's the negativity that's around, that fans are just blind to all that. They're not even really watching the game properly because they're just so angry and there's no connection. Simon Gullion says, if Arsene is to be taken seriously, he needs to get tough with his squad and his staff and radically reinvent his entire staff and approach. That is true. That is true. Listen, that's how Sir Alex Ferguson lasted so long over the years. He changed his number 2. He brought in Carlos Queiroz. You know, he brought in various different people as number 2. He got fresh ideas, fresh approach. You know, if I'm doing ArsenalFanTV in the next 5 years, I need some new guys to come in and say, yeah, Robbie, actually, yeah, I know you used to do that like that then, and that was doing all right. But now, why don't you try this, or you should use this camera, or but why don't you not address it? You know, there's a lot of people who are into it. Me, I may not know that because I'm an older guy. Maybe I need to bring in somebody with fresh ideas and that alongside me, help me out. And if I can't adapt, maybe it's time for me to say, you know what, let me hand it over to these guys and let them move. You understand what I'm saying? Right? Malcolm Walker says 48% of West Brom's goals with Tony Pulis come from set pieces. Yet, what have the team been training on all week? Here, Malcolm. Brilliant. What have they been doing all week? Do you see that? 48%, nearly half, of all of West Brom's goals come from set pieces. Yeah? So what are you training on? There's a set piece and there's 3 West Brom players running for that ball and not one Arsenal player near it. What have they been doing in training all week? Playing FIFA. Danny says the fans are crumbling. I was at the game yesterday and they were fighting amongst themselves. It's literally breaking the club. And there was fight. I didn't really see no fighting, but lots of arguing amongst fans yesterday. Lots of it. Even had some fans come up to me. Why are you filming that? Because we film when we win, we film when we lose, we film when we draw. Yeah? This is real football. This is real fans. This is what we do. Right? So that was my answer to that guy. Might have said it a little bit more rougher than that, but that was my answer to that guy, right? Respect to that guy. Listen, he's mad. He's coming out of the ground. He's mad. He's angry. I can understand it. Ian Musgrove says, all right, at least this guy's giving me a little bit of something to laugh about in a day where I'm not in a mood to laugh, but this is funny. Ian Musgrove says, West Bromwich Albion had no planes. Who said we lost the aerial contest? We certainly had a lot of planes up there. I wonder if was it the same plane? I'm asking Cameron, was it in the same plane that took both banners? I'll tell you what, that plane company did all right yesterday, trust me. I heard it's like £3,000, £4,000 a pop to have a plane, right? So I wonder if it's the same plane company. I could just hear the planes. I couldn't really see them from where I was stood, but I wonder if it's the same guy. Flew one plane and then flew back to base, quickly switched the banner over and flew £8,000, for couple of flyovers, man. That's some decent money. I'm gonna have to buy one if I could afford it. I'm trading the Rolls Royce, according to people. Yeah, the Phantom Rolls Royce I'm supposed to have. Right. Let's just do a couple of more to get back to seriousness now. Chris Murray said, "So sad his reign is ending this way. Will always be an Arsenal legend, but his ways are dated. It's like watching a dying animal," he says. And I'm going to finish with Ahmed Mahmood here. He says, shocking performance, terrible. It's evident more than before that the players are not playing for the manager and he must go. How can you argue with that? How can you argue with that? I mean, leave the comments below. Let me know what you think. You know what I really would like to do as well, right? Obviously, we get a lot of... I get to see a lot of fans in the UK. And I'm seeing a lot of what they're saying. What I really like to do is hear from fans from around the world. If you're in the US, Australia, India, Africa, anywhere you are in the world, anywhere, I really love to hear from you. What I would like you to do is if you could record something on your phone and send it in to us. It can be no longer than about, say, 15 seconds. And what I would like you to do, if you look in the description below, I'm going to give an email address where you can send those clips to. And I want you to just tell me how you feel about the current situation. Is it Wenger's fault? Is it the players' fault? the board? What needs to happen in your opinion? Because as I said, you see a lot of the videos. Obviously, we're interviewing fans at grounds and stuff like that. But I want to hear from the fans from around the world. We've got loads of fans around the world. I remember I was chatting to Steve Manios the other day from the LA Gooners. I asked him about America, and he said he's very split there. There's a lot of fans that want him to go, a lot of fans that want him to stay. I want to hear from fans around. I met another guy the other day from India, really passionate. So it'd be great to hear from fans around the world. So look in the description. You're going to see an email address. Send it in. I'm going to compile a video with all of your comments, and then we'll gauge and see how fans around the world are feeling. Be completely honest, yeah? Don't be jumping on any bandwagons or anything like that. I want you to talk from here, from your heart, where you feel the problems are or what should be done. Remember, it can't be too long. It can be no longer than about 15 seconds. So you're going to have to get to your point very quickly, send that in, and the best ones will feature in a special video where we'll, fans from around the world. Thanks for watching this Aftermath special. You know what, we've got a 2-week break right now, and it's almost like I'm glad we got the break, just to get away from, well, I can't get away from talking about Arsenal. I'll still be talking about Arsenal, but it's just so painful at the moment. I mean, I've never known it not since the days of, Bruce Rioch. I've not known it to be this bad at Arsenal. It really is a shambles at the moment. And something needs to change, something needs to happen. Thanks for watching ArsenalFanTV.